Ah, yes. Prison. Previously, we got ourselves started, and despite some degree of initial tension and internal violence, we've managed to blossom into a nice little, presently 74 inmate capacity prison. And even that is not quite fully up to mark, since that does not account for furnishing the rest of these good behavior cells that we already finished. Here where we have our main blocks for regular incarceration are very marginally better. You can read a book here. Cells, the best behaved in the main block. And then over here, the current generation of nice boy cells. For everyone who keeps to schedule and follows the rules. We also got the groundwork laid for several of our potential rehab programs. Oh hey, professional janitors will do laundry if you don't have any prisoners assigned. That's nice. Not sure if that was a thing at the time of the older versions that I played. And we have a prison shop that has started work processing many materials. We already have some bad boy cells, or at least some punishment cells for the current level of things. Some capacity for confinement, of which one is in use right now. Classroom, I would guess it's this filthy just from the guards patrolling it. The absence of any available laborers. We haven't had anybody step up to fill all the new janitorial positions we created. With our little, it's a rehab building. That's its primary role. We can go ahead and populate this rec room as well. Nice pool table. Ooh, TVs. Little cluster of chairs for potential further AA meetings. Even some phones. I can also throw down some weight benches in the other yard. For the most part, we're working on building up the necessary capital to initiate this thing here. Our next primary load-bearing cell block. Also, our even better behavior cells. For the highest class of criminal. Yeah, now that the shop is up and running, we definitely are going to maintain some nice, healthy cash flow. And yes, we have plans for new cafeteria building to be grappled on to the security hut here. Right, we have not yet filed the necessary paperwork to have guns. Let's see. Yeah, if we're gonna open a new... Yeah, if we're gonna open up a new cell block, we should get the logistics set up a bit more elaborate. Go ahead and file for micromanaging. The mayor's temporary ban on lifting already resolved, and things are back to normal. Everyone can lift whatever they please, whenever they please. Ever have not unlocked cameras yet. We do not have authority to surveil our prisoners. Not autonomously. Only personally. Current dog patrols are overextended. Perhaps do a little to ease that up. Find these. I'll free up a dog. And we only need one dog running there. It's a start. And just better load balance between those two. And preemptively declare regular security patrol. For all of this. I think one guard can handle all 8 of those cells. It's for our best behaved folks. Surely I can let my guard down for even a moment. That just makes sense. So in terms of primary staff, lawyer is the only other class of office having staff that we still need. Still don't have a ranking. Need one more ordinary release. No shortage of available convicts out on the market. Just need somewhere to put them all. Oh, I also, between sessions, looked up what the mysterious description of adjacent to room means. So what that's about is how the shop works is that you set up the shop as a room, and then one wall of the shop has a storefront built into it, and then it serves customers across that wall. So like, to visualize, if I had a shop like here in this space, which I can't even tag it there since it's not a building, but yeah, if I had like a shop spanning here, all of this floor space is for storage shelves and a sorting table, and then I would, in this wall or this wall, put a storefront object. And that's the, it has to be adjacent to, there has to be something else on the other side. It's just weird phrasing on a requirement. Speaking of requirements for things, definitely want more metal detectors over here. Library, classroom, common room, laundry room, absolutely. Post a dog on this patrol. Dogs are good at finding all sorts of contraband. In particular, I would be worried about people sneaking materials out of the cleaning room or medical supplies out of the infirmary. Syringes cannot do any good among the general population. So let's just preempt that. And in anticipation of such needs, hire more dogs. Good dogs. So what the shop building does is it will import miscellaneous items that the prisoners can use to satisfy needs, and then the prisoners are allowed to buy them using the money that they get paid for doing prison work. So it's a way to get their salaries back in exchange for making their lives a little nicer. It's win-win. Everyone is happy. Yeah, just make sure wires are running under all the right spots. There we go. Hammers do not belong in the cafeteria. New guy sneaking pills. No good. And let's see, did I remember to heat this building? Where even is the temperature map again? Planning? Logistic? Yes, logistic room. No, this building is not heated yet. Let's fix that as well. Large fellow in dark clothing was probably a priest. Let's see. Anything going on in here? Maybe over there. There is this smaller fellow in dark clothing. He is spiritual leader. That is actually a part of how your chapels work. Each day that you have a scheduled spiritual consultation, a random spiritual leader will arrive and do what they do. Schedule more of that since we have the other one. Also, yeah, there's time on the schedule for a little more behavioral therapy. One currently active psychologist can fit in 2 appointments a day. And we do have room for more parole hearings. May as well have a full schedule of those available. we're not going to try to presume or second guess which sort of spiritual guidance might make our prisoners better rehabilitated. Who knows, any number of teachings could be properly tailored to help them reintegrate with society. And yes, I did have a hot water boiler down here. Let's apply the pipe. We welcome any religion that involves sitting or kneeling in a room for a couple hours a day while a guest gives a speech. If you cannot dispense your religion in the form of a short lecture per the form, then we cannot book you a room. Those are the rules. Tunnel smell on the suspicious side of the prison. That's no good. Search time! No, I think I recall the mention. Maybe it's something that was scheduled for the next patch. But it was a common concern of many players that, so work time, if a prisoner does not have an active job they could be working at or other appropriate work hours activity, they will default to a different behavior. In this case, right now, they default to free time and get to just loiter around however they'd like. And many people are not fond of that as a policy because it means that if you want to do a lot of prison labor or a lot of rehabilitation, it means putting a sizable part of your population just idling around, potentially getting up to no good. So instead, an alternative that was going to be introduced was to have separate designations for work and free time versus work and lockdown. Something to that effect. Yeah, I suppose all the guards are tied up with the shakedown. It's busy work shaking down a prison. Go ahead and stimulate the budget by just preemptively selling some of these points. Pitch this lumber. So we can turn it into more officers. From my experience, routine shakedowns are just an important part of running a healthy prison. Even your best behaved prisoners will break the rules. They'll smuggle stuff in, they'll try to break out, they'll organize themselves into groups and so forth. So often you just have to remind them that this is in fact still prison. Keep them on their toes. Alright, this building now exists. Once the budget permits, we can go ahead and create the very good behavior cells. the top quality. The hotel for tax fraud. Yeah, they can share a utility hookup with this. My, that's a lot of blood. Somebody gonna mop that? What are you doing outside? Do you have places to be? Oh wait, maybe... Are you well behaved? Are you going to the nice boy cell? Yeah, these are fully inhabited. Let's see. Inhabited largely by deserving people. So apparently someone's grade 10. And a few that are just getting to overflow by default. You're on thin ice, Jones. You just give me one reason and you're out of here. Meanwhile, Van Horn over here. Oh, he's nearly gone, though. Only 2% chance of future crime. At this point, the prison just needs to start making use of its own growth curve. The tile work getting put out is for more than just cosmetic purposes. The nicer types of floor also increase walk speed, or at least many of them do. Some do not. Prison Architect does have executions. It takes a fair degree of paperwork to get to them. They are way over here behind our legal department that I haven't paid for yet. And that has a whole mechanic of you bring in death row inmates and you store them, and then while they are staying at your prison, they go through a series of appeals where their case continues to be assessed for the many years that they are kept in storage, or would be years in real prisons. Naturally, probably weeks of in-game time. And then if, after a certain number of appeals, they will either be, like, acquitted and downgraded to a regular prison, or confirmed for execution and scheduled for the chair. fresh prisoner. And then when you execute a prisoner, there is a dice roll as to whether or not they would posthumously be found innocent. And if you end up performing a wrongful execution, you receive a bit of a penalty. That is what this research over here is for. Right behind death row, you have the ability to have your lawyers figure out how to reduce liabilities. Lawyers unlock many other bits of wiggle room, like reduce the minimum size that prison cells need to be. Let you schedule people to be thrown in solitary forever. And I think those are about expanding how much you can screw up without failing when you have failure conditions on. Where failure conditions are, I think, debt, deaths, and escapes. If you get too much of any or all of those in a short span of time, you lose. I could probably stand to hire more regular janitors. Or a regular gardener. On the other hand, I am also trying to put together the capital for yet more containment. No, not even window. Big window. You get an excellent view of the alley behind your cell. The sun gets in there sometimes. I do have a bunch of bunk bed in storage. I could create some multi-cells. Just to remind myself, all of the sources of quality. Size, desks. They get desks in the highest quality cells. A desk, a TV, and a radio. Also handy for when you don't want to quite do a complete shakedown. Cells are naturally clumped together into blocks, and you can have an entire block searched at once. Well, looks like someone is losing some privileges. Just fill that in. Yes, whenever one of those little shovel notifications come up, that's suspicion of tunneling activity. There might be a tunnel, it might be a false positive. And your searches aren't always dead on either. There are 4 janitors. Get further full-time cleaning staff. See if we can properly keep pace with the grime. Achieve grime equilibrium. The warden. Damn. That's an inconvenience. And there's outdoor flooding going on because of the rain. To install some drainage, I suppose. Yeah, another collectible. I sort of like that as a system for collectibles and achievements in a game. Just here's little scraps that'll spawn around your sandbox while you're playing with it. Do with them what you will. What is a showerhead doing in the middle of the forest? This is going to be the armory in here eventually, once we have that authorized. And look at that healthy pile of cash. The very well-behaved prisoners who get access to the internet. suppose I'd have to declare these cells in order to get their quality readouts. Very well. Halfway there. Yeah, and the full rating is indeed every one of those objects. Chair privileges. Your own personal chair, just for you. Classic laundry shiv. Oh, the cash flow is so healthy. The next building to install might be this one. Where, yes, for my purposes, building a big old cafeteria and a new kitchen, and I think I'll tuck a shop in the corner here now that I know how they work. Into the cafeteria seems like an appropriate place to do that kind of ending. Kitchen fight. Cafeteria fight. These are perhaps getting a bit overcrowded in there. Just a reminder, we need about 20,000. 21 when you account for also the little bridge here, the annex. On a little fence here, just so I can properly cordon this whole area off and get it active. Yeah, it'll be a while before I start, like, having any sense of wanting to segregate my prison by security levels. Right now I'm just hoping that my goofball workmen don't knock out this interior wall. That's a behavior I recall would come up a lot if you started adding buildings onto existing buildings. They would just yeah, there we go, demolish the connecting wall. Don't do that, guys. Stop that. You put that wall back. Not your wall. Alright, so... planning. Oh, going back up there. How much of this has to be kitchen? Not the two level. Yeah, I can set up a staff entrance to the kitchen back there for any regular chefs who want to work in it. Make it properly secure, but then there's always going to be security personnel on hand in this. It is the kind of facility that will always need to be monitored. Section it out into two separate cafeterias. This thing here, the shop front. Well, first I have to create some wall. I have a free grant slot. Good. Let's... What can I do? The two cleanup ones are actually really easy to clear. Just do a couple of sweeps of your prison and you will find a lot of drugs. Yeah, it's evening hours. Just shake it up. See what we got. Get the water hookup running. Oh, we found more tunnel. Actual, active, live tunnel. On the regular block. How many drugs did we find just in that random sweep? We may have already settled it just in one. Yep. And tools. Very nice. Okay, bureaucracy. Give me the paperwork for a gun. Guns and tasers. And we found another full-blown tunnel somewhere. It would be nice if I could just get those auto-cleared. Okay, shop. Let's figure you out. Somebody had a friend mail them garden shears and a knife. One of the many bigger sources of contraband input is the mailroom. Falls firmly into the usual spectrum of luxury versus security. Do you be nice or do you be strict? I suppose you want both hot and cold water for your sink. Some people. Oh, now we have the money to just declare the new cell block. Glory to it. And we're going to need a lot more personnel if we're going to be expanding operations. Back up to 20 workmen. More shifts. Gardener. Janitors. Dogs. Get extra cytologists on staff. Yeah, a bit of a fight's on. That's life. And somebody got away? Where's this fight taking place? Maybe they just snuck out in the chaos. Yeah, I think that's our timeline here. A fight broke out in the shop, and that created a distraction that let somebody bolt for it through these doors. So we'll just up security on the shop floor. I mean, yeah, let's see, we're potentially allowing up to 18 prisoners to work in there at a time. That definitely demands more attention. Never figured out how to borrow. Orbit throwdown. Temperature is rising. People get a little bit fussy about the spontaneous mass searches. Did I miss buying your door? Oh, it's in there. Well, cued in there. The concept of the door is there. And that pipe is just barely too short to deliver the hot water. Well, rather, the boiler is just barely too far away. New boiler, then. Your window will have a lovely view of the boiler. I may have been overzealous with my hiring. Right, there was that event mission thing about doing the more free time. Safely ignored. Right, now we can food distribute. And yeah, laundry micromanage as well. If we started building more decentralized facilities where a lot of folks had their own, smaller, nearby kitchen and laundry and other services, that's where you sort that out. Whether our current spread of heating is adequate. Yes, the new block goes through the current laundry room. The intent is to make that, like, a bigger laundry room. These cells do not yet have their TVs. These cells now have their TVs. Alright, looks like we've ground broken on the facility. Just need an entrance in order to cap it off. Yes, I can allow one to exist on that side, even if I'm not going to use it much. If we eventually buy more land and spread out that way, then there will be other things to interact with. That's another mechanic. It's tucked away in the bureaucracy somewhere. You can eventually start expanding your plot. Yeah, there it is. You can spend a sizable amount of money to add another starting area-sized block in a direction, including across the road. Speaking of financial bureaucracy, let's figure out loans, and then actually tax relief is too expensive for us right now. How much are we even losing to taxes? Not much. Possibly not any. Figure out how to borrow so we can get enough capital to set up the new cell blocks, then we'll have all the money in the world. Also, none of this crap is getting properly brought out. Alright, that might help facilitate better flow of bodies in and out of the shop. Now, will we figure out how to borrow money before everything goes right? Although I also have another financial panic button. Or do I? I do once things cool off. So a mechanic I mentioned during the previous session is your prison always has a value that it's assessed at, and if at any time you feel like you're done with your current building and want to start fresh but don't want to start from scratch, you can sell off your prison to wipe the slate clean and then have a pile of money worth as much as your current prison as starting cash. And one of the ways that you can get some emergency funding if you feel you need it is you can sell off shares in your prison, which gives you a pile of cash, but also reduces how much of the prison value you get if you decide to sell and start fresh. And yes, the plan is to just double up on this laundry room and this, I suppose. Let's not dismantle that wall, we'll just have two separate janitorial closets next to each other. New soap. Although, now we're once again into the fire. Who told the inmates about the dead? That's confidential. Never tell the inmates what anything is worth. Oh, shop's up and running. Look at all these lovely prison-approved materials. Books, snacks, cards of some sort. Newspaper. Everything you need for comfortable, efficient prison life. Alright, things calm down enough that I can sell a share. If I have to, which, sure. Out the water. Yeah, we have a main, like, heavy line running under the showers, and that works out fine. All the lighter stuff then branches off of it. Be nice if cloning rooms also cloned the utility hookups under them. And then for this side of the building... First of all, get rid of this door. I do not want it anymore. Shut it down. Be a wall. And now that we're at it, well, what are my current demographics for the prison? 16 high, 53 normal, 15 low. So it would be fair to designate, like, a block for low security. Bring all the low security people together. That's also coincidentally where I installed the bookcases. And then let's see, designate... Strip of things down here, maximum. Actually, one of these will be made max, because then I can also have them be attached to like a dedicated shower room. Hey, somebody made parole, which probably means yes, we now have an official rating. Our statistics. We've paroled 9 people early, none of whom have reoffended. We have paroled more people than have escaped or died. Overall, rating 6 on punishment, rating 1 on perform, rating 1 on a plus or minus 5 scale for security, rating -3 for health. Funny that. Well, let's see, let's take some representative samples here. Your health state is -5. Because you got beat up a bunch and have an addiction. Let's see, your health status is neutral. You gotta spend a bit of time exercising. -4 because you're an addict. Neutral, so yeah, that seems to be the case. We have either people who are at the middle of the scale, or people who are way down at the bottom due to constant bleeding and pummeling and... cocaine. Monday. Monday, what are you doing? What you doing out here, Monday? Where are you going, Monday? Where do you live, Monday? This is how you spend your free time? Just standing around in the alley? Search him. Yeah, all those in-between zones, you better believe they're staff only. Still don't have that hot water pipe finished? closer and closer still. And we're expecting an influx of funds the moment the big number crosses the line. Once we secure our 100 prisoners, that'll be grant money in the bank. And we're back at very positive cash flow now that the population is rising. The scheduler, you can do more elaborate things with where and when you have your patrols run. If you were looking to optimize all your guard usage, you dig into that. I can get their hot water in through the back. Gates, congratulations. Pt.2 has neutral health. I think one of the ways I could improve prisoner health, just go to my policies here. Let's feed them less trash food. That bed. What is wrong with that bed? There we go. The laws of space and time in flux. Let's see, how's the health rating on some of our better cared for prisoners? Also neutral. Positives are being well fed and getting exercise. Maybe if I assign more yard time on the old regime, we got 2 hours in the yard. Make more equipment available. Yard after the free time. Yeah, there we go, our 20k for our grant. That's quite the pile-up of workmen over there. And it also occurred to me I was starting to wire them up to that pipe, but I could just as well have them run to here. Going to have warm water run up here to supply the showers. Just make the entire in-between zone a nice common room. Also install more laundry machines. And with some more of that windfall, let's reinforce the fence. Some of that fence upgraded into more than fence. Yep. Yeah, I think you're not allowed to run utility stuff through top-level perimeter wall. So I'll have to run that outside, which is fine by me. This stuff is terribly expensive, but it's also very durable. Perimeter fence here is the hardest material for prisoners to burrow through. Well, perimeter wall, big old concrete reinforced, surrounded in all sorts of slabs and tabs. Give it another day's intake, and then we can install heat. Pipe valves let you toggle whether pipes are on or off. Power switches likewise let you temporarily disable power cables. I haven't seen much use for those in my time playing the game. But I suppose, especially if you then link it up to all the various fancy automated gizmos you can create, you could do some powerful things with them. I've just never dabbled with those mechanics. Oh yeah, just let the work happen. And with the building paid for, personnel is the next order of the day. And I guess this bit's just going to be a corridor. There is no endgame for Prison Architect. You play until things fall apart, or until you feel satisfied with what you've done. It ends when you say it does. On the other hand, I could fit some nice pool halls into this corridor. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, definite bottleneck right now is guard count. We have staffing. Staffing to do. Especially, look at all these folks who are on intake and never got brought inside. Damn. We are undersupplied. At least grab another branch to speed things up there. Yeah, get more long-term load-bearing. Yeah, let's see how well we absorb 64 officers worth of work. A bunch of that is going to be the backlog of people who needed to get intaken. Given time, they'll all sort themselves in. 1 Celsius is where you would expect cold rain rather than snow. It would depend on, like, pressure and wind and exactly what kind of weather pattern is bringing in your precipitation. All sorts of factors. Someone please put this pipe. Does staff not have access to that back door? Perhaps not. $150 a tile. Powerful wall. Alright, doors in. That should solve piping problem. What are the stats on food? Might be underfeeding people, just out of sheer logistical concerns. Actually, now that I've settled on this being the layout, I'm fine with creating a door there, and another line of fence internally here. In principle, you don't want to be handing out too many liberties in a prison. Weird, I know. That should make it be easier for people to pile out and approach food. Alright, and some of them are at least flowing over into the next yard. Into which I could throw more weight benches. If lifting makes them healthy, and healthy prisoners make us look better in front of the shareholders, then lift they shall. Also, the armory paperwork cleared a while ago. Finally cleared. Authorization for gun. Your patrol got cut off. There we go. Redraw that. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the shower part of it's online. The wall goes in next week. No reason not to use it now. Brief interruption of the audio. Just had to click out of the window for a second. And keep working the good results from the parole hearings. Okay, that's wound up in a position where it's not usable. Take it apart then. Laundry is weird. It is not yet fully understood by man. There, now it's snowing, even though it seems warmer than you'd expect snow to happen. Winter is upon us. Well, no, not yet. Once all those are properly separated from each other, then I'll assign security levels to showers. Mostly just have the highest risk prisoners separated off in their own zone. The mediums and the lights can mix freely. It's the advanced criminals who deserve their own accommodations. I'll hand out a couple of bookshelves over here. Some shelves, some windows. These quantum beds we keep bringing in, they better be comfortable. Comfortable or somehow less expensive than regular bed. Either or. Probably creates more solitary cells. Perfect. Like you were made for it. couple cells missed out on their basic furniture assignments. And a couple of wall build orders dropped into the void. Or whenever assigned. It seems like it was a cloning oversight on my part. All hands. Commence the shaking. But teams work fast. Where do they hide all the contraband? Nature finds a way. That's where they hide the contraband. Psych office means more capacity for therapy sessions. Therapy and more AA that we can run. You have room for more spiritual guidance. It's a good reform program. It's really popular, very quick to cycle, and has a very high success rate. The kitchen's on fire. Yeah, somewhere in here there's a... Let us contact the appropriate other services. Man, do I have a fire suppression system? Could I have a fire suppression system? Are sprinklers a thing? They are a thing. Okay. To be kept in mind for the future, let's install some sprinklers around notable fire hazards. Yeah, get some in the shop. Yeah, fire's real quick on the draw. Cancel the shakedown. There's a different crisis to deal with. Fireman? Fireman, come on. Come on in, guys. Fire's right here. Oh, get it. Fireman. Fireman, please. Please, contain the blaze. Guys. Okay. One fireman died. And there's extensive damage to the facility. I don't think we lost any prisoners. And the damage resulted in cutting power to the entire northern half of the property. That's a little rough. It also severed the main water line. Be noted. Fire. Hot. Anyway, guards, resume shakedown. Yeah, what a time for a riot. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll lock down the prison. Everybody just back to your cells until I sort this out. I have a lot of building to replace. They're dead firemen. And even the staff room got a little torched. Let's borrow a bit of capital just to help sort out the damages here. To reassign. At least a bunch of the doors survived the fire. We can make more of the prison out of whatever we used for those doors. Oh, our chief of security died. Alright, there's a way I can get some surprise money. Just satisfy another of our grants by quickly hiring 2 armed guards. As the canteen got pretty thoroughly chewed up. There we go, now it's reunified. At least it is a single continuous thing. Is someone gonna get the dead firemen off the cafeteria floor? No, future consideration in developing other facilities. Sprinklers. Fire suppression. Yeah, that's a thing. Fire hot. Fire very hot. Hire a second man with gun. But let me clear a grant. And now that we own man with gun, we have this additional security panic button, which permits man with gun to use gun on man. Repair the staff room. There, good as new. And a bunch of the equipment survived as well. By the look of it. You're not going to find lunch here. The kitchen burned down last night. At least some of our chefs survived. Maybe we can get some emergency meals thrown together at the last minute. There'll be no berg for anyone until everything has been rebuilt. Devastation. Well, the building is mostly back together. And the power's on again. Everything's fine. Prison status okay. There, grant complete. Capital found. Capital will be promptly invested into more regular officers. Yeah, that's like half as many personnel as we have convicts. That seems like a healthy ratio. We could go ahead and paperwork up some ways to help even the odds. I'm not sure what the green smear on the floor is. It's something. Or medical personnel. In case. There's no power in the solitary building. Maybe that's the point. There we go. Properly redesignate everything. Get some pipe run out so that the sprinklers actually work. Chefs, get that gardener back, expand janitorial staff with a hopeful focus on, thinning out the burning wreckage. Just get this building less charred if that's not too much of a hassle. Or snack riot. The usual. Would be the right size for a further quality of life building, or any other sort of structure. Thunderdome. Oh, we were able to get one top quality wall. Things stabilize, we might even be able to get the other two. Could put some kind of supermax facility in here. Just the completely self-contained. Storage for the most dangerous of criminals. Alright, there we go. Bureaucracy. Yeah, the taser paperwork cleared. So now for an extra $400 per appropriately equipped guard, our guys will carry tasers. Tasers allow our personnel to very quickly, non-lethally subdue people. Although they also create yet another object that could be stolen off of a guard and put to use by a crafty inmate. Alright, there we go. I can now create the designated high security shower. So let's see, we're up to a full 21 low sec. We're mostly medium, as is normal. Although there are more low available. Max. Currently 14. I'm open to bringing in fresh maximum securities. Pile them on. Because there really aren't enough well-behaved high security folks. Let's see, who is unassignable? Okay, the problem was successfully cleared. That was probably it. And when you go about designating various cells as various quality of prisoner, the intake settings will smartly recognize those different capacities. Go ahead and formalize a bunch of medium. Get those zones properly isolated from each other. Try out the latest in closed concept prison. Prisons with walls. Central cafeteria would be a good approach to a future block like this. Apparently now we have extensive negative cash flow. What's going on here? Programs, wages. I may have overhired. Especially our folks with guns. Those are very expensive. Just a little downsizing. How do I station my medical staff? Most of you are clustered in the wrong infirmary. Get over there. Yeah, I can ease off on construction staff when I'm in between major building projects. All my dog patrols staffed. Yes. I have 6 dog worth of patrol assigned. Let's just redo all the floor in the main building. Get some nice tile. Current dog count. Well, that's also in the staff tab. 12 dog handlers. There, much nicer. Looks much less burnt out. Oh, we're at it. All the nice cells get wood paneling. Budget permitting. All the very nice cells get wood paneling. 2 of the nicest cells get wood paneling. Let's see. If people have serious complaints, feel they were unnecessarily searched. Let's check the need tab. A lot of hungry people, a lot of underclothed people. These, that largely looks like problems that stem from, you know, just the ongoing ripple effect of having one of our cafeterias shut down for a day. Food problems, clothing problems, family and recreation. That's more a matter of I should assign time. And then also, family, I just need to install more visitor centers. They're apparently fairly booked right now. Let's set up a visitor hut. Yeah, just here by the lake. That's 6 hours of sleep on the schedule now. Most sounds are fight sound, but the overall temperature of the prison is lower end. Things are quite calm. A little introversion logo. How large do visitation rooms need to be? No size requirements, just enough space for the table or booth. And said object is a 3x2. turn my whole attitude around about this. Let's make it more of an outward-facing approach here. Visitation strip mall. Go ahead and declare some more yard in the filler space. Then we just need to get that built. For about $4,000. Pursuit of a dedicated high-security Thunderdome seems like a next-time project. Really, when you think about it, all prisons are Thunderdome. The regular security Thunderdome is the cafeteria. That's starting to have any impact on the health of our prisoners? Yes, slightly. And that in turn is maybe slightly improving the overall metric. One of our 20 people we released did a crime. Or of the parole folk. Of our general purpose releases, 14% reoffense rate. Somebody got out. Burrowed clean through the fence. What happens when you don't do enough shakedowns? There is a small flood in this cell because Kanto for their beat up his toilet. budget permitting, we gotta finish this wall. Yeah, sure. Those sound like features we'll want eventually for the Thunderdome, and I will make good use of $20,000 up front. Oh yes, that's how it is right now. With your with baseline, your armed guards get to carry tasers. Then with this further paperwork, you can start training your regular guards to also wield tasers. Body armor. Money for the visitation building. Oh, and that's going to have interfered with your dog patrol. Adjust that accordingly. There. Soon everyone can see their family. Mind, visitor building will be a bit cold. Yeah, hot water pipe isn't too far away. Already seeing these. Are we actually just understaffed or understocked on laundry equipment? Do I need more washers? More dryers? Or programs to train people? Was there a safety program for... No certification necessary to work laundry. I'm not sure why the washers are squashed, and I dare not question. Perhaps I just need more ironing boards. By the way, the Visner building is a big hit. Oh, that's a lot of food items piling up there. What are you gonna do with all those eggs? Did this kitchen reconstitute properly? Classic cafeteria. Why can't you be more like new cafeteria? There's hardly any blood there. You need to have a fight, take it to the yard. Well, we have the body armor paperwork yet. Everyone is wearing their sporty vests. New, more stab-resistant officers. Alright, with that, things are looking vaguely stable at our new population. Next time, we might see about building ourselves a Thunderdome, or some sort of regular third cell block, or both. The block which is itself Thunderdome. We'll see. Next time, on Prison.